Alrighty, traders, John Howell here. We're going to be looking at the markets today. What's been going on right now? Right now, as I'm doing this recording, there is roughly 3:10 in the good old New York time. So there's roughly just under an hour or 50 minutes left of market close, but a lovely lots and lots of green across the stock market, but also the mining sector. So let's actually get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video, because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty, traders, so let's get straight into it. I did a video yesterday and I talked about, the first thing I said is that expect to bounce out of the stock market. I was saying that if we have a look at the, where's this one here? Okay, this one right here. Okay, so one thing I was saying in the markets, well, one thing I was saying in yesterday's video is that I'm actually expecting a bit of a bounce, probably a bit of a bounce up into, maybe there's actually probably a bit of a resistance and support where we are getting into here, but I wouldn't be too surprised if we had a bit more upside to come. The interesting thing that I'm seeing right now, traders, is that once again, yesterday I did a video yesterday saying expect more upside to come. Here we go, and that's exactly what we got today. The really interesting thing is, how strong is this leg going to be? I'm expecting a very nice move for the rest of this year, because we've had the correction, we've had people freaking out, we've had sentiment really bearish. That's exactly what you need for the market to then make the move up. And this is where, if you're an investor in these markets, you never invest in supposedly really good news, right? It's really weird, I know. But if you have a look at the Therona crash, when was the time that people were most fearful? It was obviously getting near the bottom, right? Like fear, and it's like ultimate fear down here. That's it. It's the end of the world. And then that was the best time to what? Buy. So you never buy it. You never really buy on good news. Like, I know a lot of people, like, and this is where it's a hard thing if you're new to the markets, like same for Tesla. Okay, so same for Tesla. If I bring up Tesla, you know, for the last, there's been, through this time here, there's been a couple of really good reports come out of Tesla, and Tesla's has continued to drop down. So if you're an investor, meaning you're buying and holding for quite some time, then we want to look for opportunities where there is blood in the streets and no one wants to get involved with it. Okay, so for example, when I say investor, for me, and I have like a 2, 3, 4 year view type thing, my long-term investments are more into the mining sector. I know I've been bearish the mining sector for the last few weeks, but that's short-term trades. Okay, I've said for the next couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months. I don't really give a shit about that. If I'm an investor, I'm buying that because I see over the next 3-4 years, we're going to be experiencing, I don't know when, but we're going to be experiencing one of the greatest moves in the markets. So I'm a long-term investor in the mining sector. But short-term analysis, short-term is different. Actually, you can become, there's a difference between I'm an investor in this position where I'm just buying. Okay, I'm adding more and adding more and adding more, because I see things moving in that direction this next 4 or 5 years. And then there's a difference between that and then actually trading the markets. Okay, don't mix them up. Okay, so the thing that I'm looking at with the stock market, once again, is I'm expecting to see the market to rise. The Nasdaq had a very nice rise today. So far, it's up over 2%. But once again, traders, we're not out of the woodworks yet. We really need to see this thing like really power on up and start to give us some good strong moves out of this here. Otherwise, you know, we are actually in a bit of a downward trend now. Oh, not a bit of, we are in a downward trend now. We're well below my 52 moving average. So we really need to see this over the next, say, month or two, really start to power on up and start to give us some really good bullish signs, like even a higher low or something like that, some bullish signs to come out of these markets. So, and looking at the Dow Jones as well too, we can see we're getting a bit of a bounce. But the issue that I'm finding with the Dow Jones is that we made a low, higher low, and now look what happened here. We made a lower low, and now we're rallying to the upside. So that's actually a warning sign, traders. The warning sign is this: is that if the market for some reason does this, and then it pauses, and then we start to roll over, and then we break this significant low down here, or it's actually more like through there somewhere, 34,000. That's actually not going to be real. That's not going to be good at all for the markets. Yes, we're probably going to see a significant move on the downside, so that could possibly happen. My view of where we are in the macro cycle of things, and I've talked about this before, is that I see this as being a correction before we continue to see an extraordinary quality bull market, because where we are in the macro cycle of things, we're still really in the middle, maybe slightly after the middle of the macro cycle. When they start to raise interest rates, you know we're roughly around 12 months from the top of the stock market. So looking at the actual, let's look at the mining sector. So the mining sector actually, the GDX actually didn't break below here. We actually had a bit of a bounce today. Again, we're not out of the woodworks yet when it comes to the mining sector. We got a bit of a bounce here on the GDX, the GDXJ as well too. We got a bit of a bounce. Is this going to be some sort of a slingshot pattern? Again, we don't know yet. We need to really wait and see what this is going to give us. And so this actually could be some sort of end of trend indicator, like a flush down before we see a move up. That could possibly be that. So what we need to see, if that's going to be a possible bottom here, okay, and again, it's very, very hard to say what's going to happen here, but if this is going to be a possible bottom here, we would want to see something like that, and then a higher low, and then a continuation up like that. That's what we'd want to see. You know what, this low here this low here was just a sucker rally to get people to basically get people out of the markets and stop before we start to see a move back up. But we haven't got the confirmation yet, so we're going to wait and see what happens there. Same for the SILJ. Again, we're still well below the support level, so we're not above it yet. So this could easily just turn around and go back down. So the market is still in a downward trend, so nothing has changed here. And also looking at the SIL as well too. Once again, same sort of thing. We're well below the moving average, as you can see. We're in a downward trend. We actually broke down. Now we're getting a little bit of rally to the upside. Again, traders, it's right now, especially on the mining sector, we've got to wait and see. But there's no bottoming pattern happening yet. But again, if we do start to see once again on the SIL, if we start to see a very strong powering move up, and then we get something like that, then yeah, guess what? Now that's probably a bottom. We've got a V bottom there. We've got a higher low. We're starting to form a bit of a bottoming pattern. Then yes, then after that, we're probably breaking some support lines as well too. After that, traders, that's when the bottom's in. Okay. The problem with picking the bottom is that you just never know. The market can continue down. Oh, the bottom's in, 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 and you've been trying to buy it here, buy it here, buy it here, buy it here, buy it here. You know what happens? And the bottom, then suddenly you because you've been buying it all the way down, you never know where the low is, and not waiting for the market to tell you. You actually get out here. Then guess what happens? Then the market rallies up, gives you a bit of an actual bottoming pattern, and then it starts its leg back up, and you're like, oh, you son of a bitch. Right? Especially if you're just buying a stock all the way down, because you're thinking that that's the bottom, it's the bottom. But when the market is just continue to make these lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high in the market, right? So that's the reason why we can never preempt. We just want to wait for the market to give us some sign. Okay, yeah, we're possibly changing trend here, right? I'll give you an example. Let's go look at SOYB, soybeans. Soybeans up in this house. Up in this bitch. So we can see here, look at this here, soybeans. So soybeans was pulling back for quite some time. I was watching this soybeans and I'm just like, here we go. It's getting ready. Beautiful, beautiful move. Okay. Lower high, 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 lower high. Right. So when is the bottom going to be in? When's it here? Here? When's it gonna? You just never know, right? But look what happened, right? Just hang on, just be patient. Let them. Don't try to jump in early, right? Step back. Wait. Right? Don't click the button, right? I know people out there. They tell you like, click the button and buy the dip and stuff like that. It's like, no, don't. Wait. Oh, look what happened here. Oh, we got a higher high. Hang on a minute. Oh, we got a high low. Oh, we actually got a breaking of a high. Oh, hang on a minute. This is when what? This is when the buyers came in control. And look what's been happening ever since. You've been going with the flow, right? You're fighting the stream. You know, the stream. If you watched yesterday's video, I talked about the stream, right? That when the market's making lower highs, the stream is streaming down. And you're trying to go against the stream, the current. You know what happens when you go fight against the current, right? You get exhausted and then you end up getting knocked out. Don't do that. Wait for the current to change, okay? Wait for it to start to move, and then guess what happened? Now the market has made a higher low, right? Which is actually in a higher low, breaking past previous highs. The buyers are now in control here, and look what happened. And the stream, and all you're doing right now here is you're just jumping on the stream, and the stream is now continuing. Make sense? So just wait for the market. I know you guys are itching to get in on the mining sector, or you're hoping the mining sector is going to go up. If you're hoping and praying, guys, don't be in the market. You should be out of the market. There's no hoping and praying, right? Because this thing is still in a downward trend. Same for this, the SIL as well too. Right, we're still in a downward trend. And what could possibly happen, traders? Well, too, we may actually get a move up like that, and then it creates another low high and does something like that. Okay, so we're in a downward trend. So again, we need to wait for that strong trend to start to change. Okay. And now we could possibly get a V bottom out of this one. I'm just trying to look for all the scenarios here. Firstly, we're in a trend, so me going long right now on a short-term basis is out of the works. I am long the mining sector, but that's in a separate account, and that's like I'm gonna see you in 2025. You know what I mean? It's a difference there. I don't give a shit what's happening here. But on a short-term basis, no. If we do get a strong move up like that, and then we start to get something like this, like something's changing here now. Okay, we're starting to get a bit of a changing formation in the market. So the whole thing, traders, is just be patient and wait for the market to give you some sort of a sign to get in, and not just try to pick a bottom. Traders, I want to invite you to my webinar that I'm running today. And on this webinar, I'm going to share with you all the details to my #1 trading system for the last 17 years and how I only trade 1 hour per day. Plus, also going to be learning the 3 secrets that I had to master over the last 17 years to generate a really good income. If you go to johnsfreetraining.com, or there should be a link in the description, click on that. Go over there right now, register. If you are struggling with the trading right now, I promise you this is going to completely game change, because you're going to understand why you are going backwards and why you're losing money. And then I'm going to teach you exactly what the system I use that gets me a really high % win-loss ratio. So this is what I want you to do right now. Go to johnsfreetraining.com. Go over there, register for my webinar right now today, because you're going to absolutely love it. Or there should be a link in the description. And I look forward to seeing you on the webinar. So go to that right now, and I look forward to seeing you on my next webinar. Go to that right now. Go to johnsfreetraining.com. Go to that right now.